Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wife for Life. This is Michelle McElroy, your favorite marriage specialist. And today I have joining me a phenomenal woman. She is definitely one of my phenomenal 52, and her name is Mrs. Carrie Little. Cry! Help me welcome her, y'all. Hey, Carrie.
Hey, good morning. How are you? And yes, I am Carrie Little. I come from the real estate space, but even though I'm in the real estate space, we are licensed and we own a brokerage in Illinois, Florida, and we also sell property in Mexico. But even though I come from the real estate space, my background is truly digital marketing and technology. So I also teach in the real estate space.
I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit about your background, like how long you been married, how many kids you got, and all that stuff.
So I have been married since 2011. So this year, September, that would make it 14 years. We have 5 kids, 3 grandkids.
Nice, nice. And what ages are the kids?
So one just turned 35. The youngest is 22. So in between all of that, I think if I could guess well, it would be 22, 24, 26, 34, 35.
Woo, girl, you got some years in this game and still looking fabulous. I love it. That's what we do. Now, I know your journey did not start in real estate, as you just kind of briefly noted, but give us an idea of some of your previous careers prior to going into real estate, and then tell us why did you choose real estate?
Well, I'll go way back as far as my first job was actually at my high school. My hidden talent is I can actually sew a wedding dress.
What?
I used to work at my high school in the tailor shop. So I do so my first real job was at TJ Maxx, then Sears and Roebuck. So I went to college, Iowa State University, to be a fashion designer, but then I pivoted and I ended up coming home. So that changed into I ended up getting a job based on my identical twin sister skills. So I worked in custom decorating and at the time I was like, I want to do something new. So my twin sister worked for a tech company. And when she worked at the tech company, she was a temp.
Okay.
And as a temp, they'll either pay off your contract and hire you, or they'll let you go and then maybe bring you back. When they went to bring her back, she already had a new job. And so she said, I have a twin. So they interviewed me.
Mhm.
Well, they really didn't interview me. They just saw me and hired me based on her skills. So I had to go learn how to type. I couldn't type through high school. I learned how to sew.
Okay.
So I ended up in technology based on my identical twin sister. And just to kind of sum it up, I worked for NEC Technologies, and then I ended up working in television.
Mhm.
And in between some of that, I used to work for McDonald's East Coast Real Estate Division, and I'm Carrie Little with the Real Estate Minute for WBBM 105.9 FM
What?
today. So I have a few things that I've done in my career that kind of make how I got into technology kind of fun. So, yeah.
You know, I love how you marry technology and real estate. Like, I'm not even in real estate. I'm not a realtor. Look, tell me how to say it, because I've been getting.
You got it right.
I got it right. Okay, thank you. I'm not even in that business, but I learned so much from you, Carrie. I love how you did that. Tell us more about your journey in real estate. Tell us how that came about, and even just brokerage and building your own team and all that stuff.
So back in 97 was the year I decided to buy a home. And when we decided to buy a property, when I went through the process, I called my real estate agent, and she did fabulous. And she's actually an attorney today. But one thing I remember was I didn't know I could buy until they handed me the keys. And so that was what made me decide I really think I should get into real estate. Now, when I did I purchased new construction, and I ended up working for the builder part-time, and I kind of loved it. And so I thought I'll get into the business, because when I went to purchase, I had to write a lot of letters. if the history, if I went back in time, my mother never explained to me that I needed to pay my bills on time. I've asked her about this for another day. But because of it, because I went through the process of a first-time home buyer, I felt like I could do this better. And so in 2001, that's when I got my real estate license. And to fast forward, 2008, I became a broker.
Mhm.
And then in 2017, I opened a brokerage because that was the only way my husband would help me. So that's so I actually opened the brokerage for him.
Okay, okay. And is that when he, got into real estate initially, or was he already kinda dibbling dabbling?
So he was someone that would renovate and flip property prior to getting his license.
Okay.
But when the reason there's a story behind why he wouldn't get his license. He didn't think he could. So what I knew, when you're someone that has, I'll say it this way, a ding on your record,
Mhm.
there's a huge process that you have to go through. And he didn't know he could get his license until I was speaking in Michigan, and there
Mm,
was a gentleman that got up. I remember he was a white guy. And the guy, he said he had a ding on his record, but someone told him what to do, and he got his real estate license. And so Mark said, I could do this. And he went and talked to the guy. But he told me, he said, Carrie, if you open a brokerage, I'll get my real estate license. And then he went through the entire process to find out what he needed to do to get licensed. And then when he went through that process, that is when I opened a brokerage.
let me just tell you, this is a great time for a marriage moment. Because what I just heard is teamwork at its finest. Like, you guys motivated each other, and it was step by step. "Hey, I've got this going on, so I can't do that." And you doing what you were called to do opened a door to him understanding how he could do it despite of, and then him then turning around and motivating you to open a brokerage. Like, that is so phenomenal. And that's what partnership in marriage should be like. Like, we should be leveling each other up. We should be encouraging each other to grow, not just in our marriage, but in our professional lives too. Even if we don't work together, we could still be a great support system. Do you feel like that level of encouragement has really exploded your business and your income potential?
Um, yes, and I will say the one thing that Mark and I do well
Mm.
is we allow each other to be who we are, and and I hate to say the word allow because that's when you get the feedback. Well, what do you mean he allowed? There's still truth in allowing people to be who they are,
Mhm.
and because of it, I'm able to work on real estate. I'm able to travel all over the United States. I spoke in another country because he supports everything I do. But on the flip side, I allow him to do real estate the way he wants to. Now I always push back. I'm like, I need you to be a top producer because what I teach, I need to prove that it works. And he's like,
Yeah.
Carrie, I don't care about the limelight. I just care about the corner making money, and I just need to make a income. People don't need to know how much I make. I don't care what other people think.
Mhm.
So being a top producer is not important to him, but for him it's what is the biggest impact? And for him it's renovation or the opportunity that he now has in Mexico.
I love it. I'm enjoying the fact that and I get the word allow, right? But to a certain extent, we can either crush the spirit of our spouse, or we could support it, you know? And when you say allow, what you're saying is we live together. And he could be doing some things and saying some things that would discourage your growth or discourage your desire. But
So I'm
there
gonna throw this in because what I didn't say,
Mhm.
I was gonna hold to out to the end, but I was married before.
Okay.
And not to throw him under the bus,
Mhm.
but didn't have the ability to do what I can do today. So when I say the word allow, it's not like, oh, he gave me permission and thank you so much, husband. No, it is giving me the ability to live and dream and do everything that I want to do. Even there are times when he's like, I need you to just take a break. That, I mean, we do see that when it's time to stop and put the computer away. Yes, but I did not have the ability to do some of the things I can do today because opening a brokerage, never, ever, ever.
Mm.
If I don't feel like cooking, I'm not cooking. He might give me a hard time. He's like, I want you to cook. But it's not to the point where I feel guilty or stressed or walking on eggshells. So when I say that word allow or permission, it's not in the ruling format. It is we can be who we are, we can
Yeah.
live our dreams, but we talk to each other about it.
I love it. Your team, your team. Now, that makes me want to backtrack a little bit. Tell me, how did you and Mark meet? And tell me about that dating to marriage journey.
So yeah, this will be a part 2 episode, but I'll try to sum it up. Mark
Okay.
and I have known each other since high school. So,
Okay.
because my maiden name is Lewis, and I even remember, like, Mark is the church musician. Mark is a character if you ever get to know him. And I remember Mark all through high school, and and we joke about this. I was like, nope, no way, I would have never dated you in high school. And we ran into each other later in life when we were going through a divorce. And so, to try to make it easy, I could easily say the route we took was not necessarily the best route, but I can say that we made some decisions that helped our marriage be stronger later. So we met later in life again, and then and it took us some years before we decided to get married. But we from the beginning we were friends, and why I think our relationship is so great today is because he always says, "Yeah, she's my road dog." Like we could do everything together and tune everyone else out. I don't recommend it because you do need girlfriends,
Right.
but we can he allows me to unload on him, although I could see he's like, "Okay, I'm done." But
Right.
the truth is, we just get along great. We took some time before we got married, but then when we did get married, that is when we still do a really good job of remaining good friends, even when the conversation is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see the friendship and you guys' relationship is so obvious there. Now tell me, did he propose, or how did you get to I do?
Yeah, he did. He proposed in the clubhouse in Oak Brook that's no longer there, and I wasn't expecting it. So yeah, he proposed in the clubhouse.
So, like, were you guys out to eat, or
We're
were
out to
you
dinner.
there? Oh, I love it. Did he get on one knee and all of that?
I don't remember, but I do have photos, but I don't remember the one knee. The big to-dos that we do today from a prom send-off to a
Mhm.
proposal, that was years ago. It was what, 2011, maybe 2010.
Yeah.
So it was nice. It was simple. It was just us.
Yes, yes, I love it. I could even imagine it having some humor to it just because y'all are hilarious, like, as a couple. I love y'all because you keep me laughing, and it's so much fun hanging around you guys. It's so awesome to have that fun and that friendship in marriage. And when I see you guys post, I'm like, "Oh, this is so phenomenal." So what made you guys decide to start posting things as a couple online on social media?
I got a story. So before the pandemic,
Mhm.
I remember one day I was I had he made me breakfast, and he typically makes breakfast almost every single day, even if it's just a smoothie. And so he was like, I'm not making you breakfast today because one day I was busy, and so I didn't finish breakfast. And so he was like, you're gonna eat this tomorrow. So he put in a Ziploc bag on a paper plate, and if people know me, I hate paper plates. And so he pulled it out, and I'm like, we're going live about this. So I put my phone up, and we went live, and it went viral. And people were like, "What, Carrie? Yeah, you need to eat that microwave bacon because if he's cooking breakfast for you every day and you didn't even take time to sit down and eat it." And from there, we just started going viral to the point we went viral, And from there, people were expecting us.
Yeah.
Now, if you already know how this works, if I could get him to commit, one of my girlfriends works in Hollywood, and she's always like, Carrie, I can make a reality show out of you too. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, when I see, because I struggle with reality TV. I don't know how people do it. Even Shark Tank is hard. So but do I know we are a reality TV show? Yes. There are some things that we go live and I'm like, nope, can't keep that one up. But people look for us to the point where even when we try these crazy stunts, they're like sending me stuff in my DMs. I'm like, yeah, y'all trying to kill us. But people prefer us together, not just me by myself.
Yeah.
And he is when I tell you he is like this all the time, even when we go to bed, I'm like, I can't go to bed laughing like this. He is like this off camera.
I love it because I love the fact that the humor is there, the sarcasm is there, the wit is there. But I do notice sometimes in the comments, um, people actually think Mark is mean. What do you
Oh,
say?
so we talked about that. I was like, Mark, because we did actually go live a couple of times to say, listen, y'all, I'm just trying to get you guys all worked up. But see, I have known Mark since freshman year of high school because I used to play in the marching band at Proviso East. He used to play in the jazz band at Proviso East because he's the church kid. He plays the organ by ear.
Mhm.
And so I finally we went live about it. But Mark is everyone that knows him from high school, if you know him, he is just trying to get everybody riled up.
Yeah.
So he's not mean. And if you and you know, he just trying to get you to get a reaction. Cause we had another video that went viral because one of my girlfriends said, Carrie, would you wake up at 2 a.m. to make Mark breakfast? And I called them and asked, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna ask you that tomorrow morning. And he did that next morning at 2 a.m. when I got up to use the bathroom. He was like, can you go make me something to eat? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I got back in the bed. And then I asked him on a video
Yeah.
and it went viral and the comments were nasty. The comments were funny. And I thought, you know what? This is what makes people engage. They like the
Yeah.
drama. They like the hard questions. And would I get up to make him breakfast in the middle of the night? Probably not, but he would.
He would, right? Yeah.
I mean, if he's hungry, he's like, yeah, let's run down to Canal Street and let's go to Lawrence's. So he's the one that if we were going to get up, he's either making it or we're getting in the car.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it because you guys kind of go against the standard, so to speak, at least the traditional standard, because people would expect you to be the yes and him to be the no. But I feel like, and I saw that one and I thought that one was hilarious. But again, I know you guys personally, so it's different. I get it. And I know just how loving he is. Like, even on the breakfast note, I feel like your husband has influenced my husband because I don't know if you remember when we had that conversation, and he was like, "Yeah, I bring Carrie her protein shake in the morning so she'll get up and work out." And my husband is always fighting with me about getting up and working out. And now, woo, he get up even earlier, which I did kind of initiate, but I kind of fell off. But anyway, we're not talking about me right now.
Mark,
But,
if you ever talk to him,
uh,
he, he, how do I say this well? He does things for me to make women think and men think. Like
yeah.
he's the person that can get other people to change.
Mhm.
And there is something about him. He wants me to actually be happy. Now, does he get me up every day to work out? No. Are there days where I'm like, you just gotta let me sleep in? Menopause is real. But what I do know is I'll say to him, I want to work out. I'm gonna sleep and then I'm gonna get up and then I'm gonna come work out. But
Yeah.
I told him, I said, but I do need the help. So he'll get up, he'll bring me some hot water and lemon in the morning. He will, bring me the vitamins because if it wasn't for Mark, I'd never take vitamins.
Mm.
He is the one, he cares. Like, and that is hard to find in a man. And men, what they don't realize is we're not like them.
Mhm.
If you just, hey, come on and work out, let's go for a walk. I want to do it with him. I really do. But if
Sure.
you push me and you're like, I need you to work out, it's probably harder. What I do
Yeah.
know is he's like, Carrie, I don't want to be 80 and I can't move.
Mm.
So he doesn't want me to be 80. And on the flip side, Mark is we both like sugar. But on the flip side, because I was the person that didn't buy pop or soda,
Mhm.
I don't buy certain things, it made him stop drinking sugary drinks, period. Now, we might have some in the house for a guest,
Yeah.
but we kind of complement each other when it comes to how we help each other, especially in the workout space.
Yeah, I love that. Well, let Mark know he did influence Ray because pretty much every morning Ray brings me my protein shake, regardless if I go work out or not. Now, we're opposite in the sense that I don't want to work out with Ray. I have done that and he has killed me.
And Mark
Professional
they
athlete.
help me. So what I have learned is I just want to be in the room with him. It's almost like when I fold clothes. I
Yeah.
want Mark, you don't have to fold clothes. Just come with me. Just sit in the room. Just sit in the room with me.
Mhm,
So I like to work out with him
mhm.
because then it motivates both of us. But have we done Beachbody together? Yes, but he hates
Mm.
the program. Not that he
Yeah,
doesn't like what they do. He wants to do his own thing. So
right.
when we're in the space together, that I like. But for him to work out with me, I'm not a guy. My
Yeah,
body can't handle some of that stuff. So working out together is better. And then
yeah.
he goes to play ball Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I go work out by myself.
Okay. Now that I could get down with. When we go to the gym together, I like it. The only hard part is Ray can be in there 2.5 hours. For me, because I don't love metal, like 1.5 hours max, and then I'm ready to go. So,
So
but
you're better than me. 45 minutes.
and that's it. That's your max. That's your cap. Like I'm
I
out of
mean, I could stay there longer, but
here.
I'm the person that put me on a bike and I can ride my bike all the way to Carroll Stream and back. So I can, like, sometimes I like the outside. I can listen to a book and it forces me to work out. I don't have to be there all day.
Mhm.
And running a brokerage doesn't necessarily allow for it.
Yeah. We said we were gonna do that last year. Let's try to get to the bike
Yeah,
riding.
the bike out, I got you.
Yeah, let's do it. Cause I got a nice bike. Shoot, we could do that. Okay. So next question is, so we're talking about marriage, we're talking about the brokerage, we're talking about teamwork. A lot of people say they could never work with their husband. Never, because it would be too much conflict there. Not only are you guys working together, but technically you are Mark's boss. Give us some insight into how y'all are making that work.
Truth is not easy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to just let him do what he's going to do.
Mhm.
Like, even when it comes to selling real estate, I am the one that probably has to do his paperwork, or administrative staff has to do his paperwork because he's not gonna do it. So in his head, he's the boss. So, okay, fine, I'm gonna let him think he's the boss. But I am the one that's running the brokerage. Is it easy? No. Do we have a set appointment every Monday at 9 a.m. to talk about the business? Yes. Does it happen? No. I do that probably by myself, and then I update. But my ask for 20 for this year
Mhm.
was, I just need 30 minutes. I would prefer 30 minutes a day, and I actually have a notebook, and I tell him to run down his day so we can
Mhm.
talk about it. The difference is when it comes to working with someone, we work well together, but if
Mhm.
you're going to work with someone, one of you has to step back and allow the other person to be who they are. And I'm gonna say what a lot of people don't wanna hear, and I'm gonna say one of you has to submit to the other. And so, the Bible says 2 heads make a monster, so both of us can't run it. So I make a decision, and I might fuss because, if there are days I wanna throw dishes, but I also know Mark is stronger than me. So I pause and I think about what is the outcome if I'm that mad. I had to learn that over time. So I pause and say, what is the outcome? Is it worth it? And can I just fix it? So if there's anything that's wrong, I will just fix it and tell him what I did.
Mhm.
But again, it's not easy. It is someone has to make the choice to run the company and then allow the other person to be who they are. I cannot change anyone, but what I can do is pray.
That part, that part. So I love prayer, like, I'm down for prayer, I'm with prayer, I pray. I also know that sometimes there are some tangible things that, we have to put in place to help us keep our mental sanity where it should be. What are some things, because you seem very structured, like 9 o'clock I'm doing this, 10 o'clock I'm doing that, 10:30 I'm doing that. Like, your day, your week, your month, your year seems very mapped out, where he seems very fluid. And I can be wrong. I'm just going off of this conversation. He seems very fluid. How do you navigate that?
So that's 100% accurate. You have great discernment. Full disclosure, I am organized by choice.
Mhm.
I probably undiagnosed ADHD, but I made it so I have
From the 2 ages in there.
right, especially all realtors. But so what I do is my system is I get up, let the dog out, I sit back in bed with either hot water or coffee because I have to wake up. Menopause again is real. And I actually journal in the morning because I it's hard at night because I can't focus. And I study Spanish every day for about 15 or 20 minutes. Then I go and work out. Do I work out every day? No, but the goal is to try to hit it 5 times a week.
Mhm.
Then I get dressed for the day and I go to my office. So, and then I have a checklist. And when I say a checklist, I think of the checklist like a surgeon or a pilot or a flight attendant or staff at the airport. They have
Mhm.
things they must get done. So I have things that I must get done and Mark must get done. Now, does he do it? No. Now this is our conversations that we have is I have to sit him down to get him to do it and he'll do it. So that's why I feel like maybe either he's the boss and I'm Pepper Potts because I manage him. But so again, we have to have systems in place to be right now I'm going to call it sustainable in the world of real estate because our market has shifted and inventory is very low. So systems make it work. Processes make it work. Because if and we hear the stories about success, people have goals. You can have big dreams and big goals, but it's the everyday things that you do that will make you successful, and that's the part that people don't wanna do. So, I do have a process, and it is not easy, but I'm intentional because I could literally like, I can even show you like, I have positive confessions that I look at every single day. It's a part of our process.
Oh, that's fantastic. The positive confessions. Um, it sounds like systems give you a certain sense of peace, regardless of the choices that Mark may make or not make. That these systems have served you well, and you could rely on those despite of anything. Not just whatever Mark may do, but the inventory being low and all these other things that if you keep doing the systems will work for you. Is that
Yes, sir. The process works. Trust the process.
trust the process? I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that because again, I think that's transferable. I think as women, if we stay committed to the process, one of the things that I'm really pushing women to do in this season of life, because it's like menopause, like you said, is real. But I remember one year, this is when Oprah still had her show. And I remember seeing her, on an interview saying that the 50s are the best years of her life because she felt like she's finally coming into who she is and how she wants to show up in this world. And I've been hanging on to that as the years and the decades go by. Between her and my dad, they've been like motivating me with every year that goes past. Trust me, life does get better, versus looking at it like, oh, I'm getting old. But what I've noticed about this season is now I'm more interested in who I want to be versus trying to please everybody and show up in the way others want me to show up. And that includes Ray, right? So I've created this character list of who I want to be and how I want to be perceived in life. And if I say or do or show up in any way that does not align with that character list, then I know I still have work to do. And I'll always still have work to do. I'm okay with that as long as I'm the one who is creating that narrative of what that should be. And so that's what I'm hearing you say about these systems and about work and about your personal life, because learning Spanish is not something that you have to do. It's something that you're choosing to do, especially based on your career goals in Mexico. I get it. I'm connecting the dots. I'm with you, sis. I'm with you. So, and I feel that, every time I see you level up, and I need you to hear this because you need your flowers now. Every time you level up and do something, girl, we are watching you and we are feeling that and we are being encouraged to do that too. So I appreciate you, and not just on a friendship level, but on a professional level. Like, your business ethics are the best. They are awesome. They
I
are
try.
definitely,
I
girl.
can tell you,
You,
the attorney for our state association,
mhm.
she's always like, Carrie, I know you're ethical. So when an attorney says it, you say it, it makes you realize you're doing things the right way. Are there challenges? Yes. But thank you.
Absolutely. You are definitely a teacher, and I appreciate that. So tell me, have you and Mark had any what would you say has been the most challenging experience you've had in your marriage?
Money.
Mhm.
I would say the hard thing. And I'd say that because I read a book, and usually we deal with money based on how we grew up.
Mhm.
And so, and I'm not saying it's awful. I'm saying Mark grew up where he had money. I grew up where I kind of had money because of how I grew up. But when it comes to money, I think that's one of the biggest challenges in marriage. You got to talk about it. So
Yeah.
our biggest challenge, and it's not easy today, is sitting down, talking about money, talking about the spending, talking about how we're going to plan for the future. I could say it's easily money. And
Mm.
there are times when I'm like, just look, because every day when we sit down, I'm like, okay, where are we here? Where are we here? Because you can't move forward if you don't know where you are,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to money. So I can say money is a hard conversation, and not to throw him under the bus. When he sees a deal, he's quick. And I only have one ask. I want to know how much money we have. I want to know what you're about to do so I can think. Because I made a decision. I used to get stressed out when a new car would come home because
Mhm.
he loves cars. I
Yeah.
but I decided, buy the car, but tell me what we're doing so I understand where our funds are and how so it even full disclosure, even if I have to adjust. And so those are some of the hard conversations that we have, and
Mhm.
where the bank accounts are. And again, I can't fix him. He has to make that choice. And I'm not saying he's awful with money. I'm saying his version of a big ticket is different from me going to buy a Coach purse versus a Louis purse.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But he
that
is, when it comes to marriage, in-laws, family, he puts me first before everybody. So we don't have a lot of the challenges that I hear people have. Because kids, listen, what did Carrie say? Moms, grandparents, parents, nope. Carrie comes first. Mark comes first. So we don't have some of those challenges.
That's awesome. Now, money, that's a great subject matter because oftentimes when we do premarital counseling, we do it based off of the top 10 reasons why people get divorced. And money is like top five, in the top five. And so money is important. And one of the things, the terms that is very common out there is, are you a spender or a saver? And, I don't know. I didn't necessarily come from money. I was exposed to it, but I didn't come from it. And so I didn't have that experience of having money. We weren't poor. Like I had friends around me who, yeah,
Every time they got the new get overalls, you were stressed out?
like, "Oh, girl, girl." But it's like, you see people whose family have money and you see people whose family didn't have money, and you're kinda like, as a child, I knew we weren't in the worst situation, so I was kind of comforted by that, but I also knew that some of the things that I wanted in life, I want to be a little more comfortable, so I need to make more money. But I had to learn who I was, just being a spender or a saver. Some people hate those titles or terms. They get uncomfortable when they're labeled something. But I feel like what you just said is so accurate. You got to know who you are so you can know where to go and what adjustments or pivots need to be made. And I agree, like, even for Ray and I, when we first got married, he was going into the league. And so my mindset was, it's his money. But that did not service us because I was working at a bank. I was a banker. I was good with money. And Ray does not do bad with money. Ray is just super generous. He is super generous. And he's an optimist on top of that. So it's like, money comes, money goes. We're gonna make more money. These people need $2,000. Let's give them $2,000. I'm like, what?
That's
So
I could say that's my husband. I can't say he's generous, but he will give, but he has a limit on that, with family, but money came easy to him.
yeah.
So it was always gonna be there. So that is usually our hard talk, and we're both spenders. But it's the process. We were having this conversation yesterday. It was $1 a day for 365 days will give you $365. If you don't do it, you won't have $365. So if you make a decision to save, even if you're a spender, because I like
Mm,
to have buckets, and one of them is a blow it fund and a savings fund and a I need help. I like what if fund.
yeah.
So I know my therapy is TJ Maxx or Nordstrom Rack or just to even walk through, but I also know when I have to stop.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that over time. So
Mm,
yeah, just like you said, it's knowing who you are and knowing how you deal with money. I want to have money in the bank, which we just finished our trust. And
mhm,
that people don't want to deal with that because they feel like it's morbid. But once we signed the trust and then we had some other things we had to execute, we're
mhm.
both relieved.
Yeah. That's awesome. We're in the process of finishing ours, so that's ironic. Let me ask you this. When you guys talk about money, if you disagree, what's the final say? How do you determine how to move forward?
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, there is really no final say because Mark has probably already done it. It is the conversation afterwards,
Oh,
or it's okay. Now that you've done this, what is the next step? So in the beginning, it was an argument, but now I have made a decision that it's not worth an argument.
mhm.
So it's how we moving forward. So again, that was my choice to deal with his car hobby. That's
Mhm.
better. I was gonna say addiction, car hobby.
Okay. Tell me, Carrie, I keep hearing this recurring theme in your responses, particularly regarding you guys' interaction, is that you come to Um, this resolve that, okay, I'm not going to be angry. I'm recognizing that this is something that's out of my control. How do you come to that resolve and still work amicably and peacefully together? And I'm not just talking about your professional work. I'm talking about relational work as well, because some people have a hard time getting over that hump.
So I'm pretty good at discerning when something's wrong,
Mhm,
and I'm a talker and I want to talk it through.
mhm.
But real life is I can tell when Mark's frustrated and I probably know why. So I fix it and then we can talk. So it's men are motivated differently than women. Like, so you have the relationship and then I can fix it. So then it's easier to have a conversation with Mark. And I know people don't typically want to talk about that.
Mm,
We can I could dig my heels in, but
mm,
somebody's got to give in. So I have made a choice to not dig my heels in. And that is not something easy. That is not something that everyone wants to do. And are there times when Mark will give in first? Yeah, but it's not worth the fight because we are in this for the long haul,
yeah,
so we have to get along.
yeah. That's awesome and very emotionally mature. Let me just say that's
Not
a
easy.
yeah, and it sounds like it took you time to develop that. Now there was a innuendo in there that I don't know if somebody else heard it, but is sex a word of that? Giving?
That's what I meant without saying it.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. You could tell if they're having different frustrations, and again, I'm not a therapist. Maybe people need to go sit on a couch, but if
Mhm,
you could fix it,
mhm.
you could fix it. And so sometimes that's the fix.
Ooh,
Easier to have a conversation.
this is so juicy, I love it. That is the fix, girl. Listen, um, there are many times that I wish I was better at that. Like I said, that's some serious emotional maturity and discernment to be able to say, hey, if I remove the sexual frustration, then we could get to the issue with a lot more clarity and probably a quicker resolution. But if sexual frustration is a part of the problem, then it's going to be hard for him to really hear and have a willingness to respond in a positive way to what the real or the depth of the issue is. Dang, girl, I gotta give you your kudos for that. I just learned something today. Thank you.
There's and people could say, well, Carrie, I'm not doing that. Okay. And walk around mad at each other where you said something earlier around we're getting to the point where we're thinking about life and having a better quality life.
Mhm.
I'm over the age of 50 and I think about that. I had a recent conversation with my mother, might have to have surgery. And I'm like, tomorrow isn't promised. So do I have to keep arguing and debating? And is it really that bad?
Yeah.
So you could fix it and move on. And I'm not saying it has to be awful. I'm not saying go, you know, just lay down. That's not what I'm
Right.
saying. I'm saying
Right.
somebody has to make a choice. Why not? If not you, then who? You can't make somebody make a decision to change. You can change. You can only
Right.
fix you. You can only correct you. And that is hard for a lot of people to get, whether it's at work,
Woo.
whether it's in a new career, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's with kids, you can only change you.
Yeah. I just wrote that in an article for the Chronicle that I write for, senior writer contributor. Th I just said your relationship can get better if you get better. I think
Only
I even
fix you.
posted a video about that as well recently. Like, your relationship could get better if you decide to get better. But we're always looking at our spouse. Like, when I get with my couples, that's the hardest thing to teach them is you're looking at your spouse and saying, "Fix him, fix her." But you don't understand that that's not something that you can control, so why are you wasting your time and energy on it? If you work on you, things will automatically get better because your perspective will become enlightened. You'll grow emotionally and mentally, and then you'll realize, "Oh my goodness, I could have just shifted this narrative or this action in a simple way that could have been for the betterment of my relationship. And what I'm hearing you say is so powerful because it removes us from always thinking about us. Because in what you said about Mark really caring for you, that in itself is a motivator to say, well, let me care for him back. And this is a way we care for our husbands. They are driven by intimacy sexually. And to villainize that is unfair of us. That's how they're wired. So instead, if we could shift our perspective and look at that as caring for them, and it doesn't all have to be the choice all the time. Like you don't always have to do it. Like you said, you don't want it to be a painful experience, but it should bring you joy to say, hey, I want to take care. I get to take care of my husband with hopes that as he receives that love and care, he will want to reciprocate that. So that's
And I'm not saying if
powerful.
we're in a bad situation where it was really bad. That's not what I'm saying. Because we have a really good relationship, so it's
Mm,
easier for me. I'm not saying do something when you know it's not the best option. Maybe you do need a counselor. What I am saying is that sometimes that's my solution for, okay, I need to have a conversation, and so I can see that there is stress somewhere. Let me fix that, and then I already know he's better. I could.
mm,
It's different. It's happier. Everything's happier.
I
He's
love
helping
it.
me fold clothes. He's getting his work done.
Girl, he turned into Mr. Clean.
How's that for?
Yeah. Mopping floors and carrying on. No, I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being transparent and sharing that with us. And no matter how controversial that response may be, I'm in agreement with you. I think that's powerful. And I think Ray is going to be so happy because I'm going to start practicing this. Let's go.
Right.
So, let's see, what else do I wanna ask you? Ooh, tell me, what is the no, I'm gonna say, what's the advice you would give to someone going into marriage? What's the one thing that you wish somebody would have told you prior to going into marriage?
I even have a journal that I probably should pull out called "What They Forgot to Tell Me."
You can make a book out of that. Right.
And I did that because I would write things out because sometimes you can't, it wasn't worth arguing with someone saying, well, how come you don't do this? How come you don't do that? I would write down, okay, they forgot to tell me this. And I've already mentioned it is, and I would say going into marriage, sit down and think about what are the things that you are willing to do for you and make sure that they're fully aware of your dreams and goals. Like
Mm,
if you know that you want to one day own a company, or if you know one day you want to live in another country, or if you know you never want children, these are some things going into marriage you need to have conversations about with first before, because
mhm.
you cannot make somebody change their mind. It is not gonna happen, and I mentioned it already. I can't change the other person, I can only change me. So, my advice for someone going into marriage is have the tough conversations first. It's not just about the ring. "Oh, I don't even have it on. I don't have my ring on." But it's not about just getting the ring and getting married and the fun, because the marriage, you most of us never even remember the day we got married. You probably forgot to eat. You probably didn't get a piece of cake. They probably forgot to pack the cake that went in the freezer. Like you don't even remember that day. This, what you're about to do is for the rest of your life.
Mm,
Hopefully, prayerfully, is for the rest of your life. So I would say have the hard conversations up front. What are the things you really, really want? And don't go into marriage thinking you're going to change someone. If there's something that they really want of you, are you willing to do that for the rest of your life?
yeah,
Because it is rare for me to cook. Although I could cook, but we're older, so that makes a difference. And is that something you're going to share? Like you got to sit down and have those hard conversations. It can't just be about getting married.
yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Ooh, it's so many nuggets in that. I hope that you guys are getting. So last question. Our time is coming to a close, and I do feel like we probably will need a part two at some point. But I definitely, as we talked about before the recording, want to get both of you guys together because I don't know if you remember this. We first met because the 4 of us were on the same panel. It was a relationship panel. Do you remember that?
Well, and I still have the photos.
I do too, I do too. Maybe I'll have the editor splice those on there. But yeah, and that was so much fun, and I really enjoyed, what you guys brought to the panel. It was phenomenal. Um, so I love asking the women that come on the podcast this question. The name of the podcast is Wife for Life. And when you think about that title, I'd like to know for you, what does that look like? What does she sound like? What does she behave like? Like, what does wife for life mean to you in your marriage?
Being a friend, learning how to listen even when it's hard, and knowing that we made a commitment to be with each other for the rest of our lives. Now, again, I always like to preface that with is we really have a really good relationship. So making sure that I think of him when I make decisions. Am I doing this because it's good for the both of us? Is it good for just me? What does it look like for us for the rest of our lives? So wife for life is there are times when we'll have an argument, but I know that no matter what, we are together for the rest of our lives. And I'm going to say this, and it doesn't matter what happens. That's probably hard for people to say, but we get along so well that I never worry about him. I never worry about him in any situations when he's out by himself. Like, we made a commitment to be together for the rest of our lives. And that also means when we're in the same state, we sleep in the same bed, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything you shared. I hope that you guys have got as much out of this as I did as a woman, as a business owner or professional, as a wife, as a mother, as a family member, as a friend, that maintaining that friendship in your relationship is important. And you can work together and still do it despite the challenges. There will be challenges, but if we focus on the friendship, if we focus on being there for each other, we can make it through anything. And that was a very powerful statement to make. I mean, and outside of, you know, abuse, I think, most couples can, more than what the divorce rate is dictating right now, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have this podcast, so we could feel some camaraderie and support of one another as women, because we do carry a lot. We wear a lot of hats, and I do deem us as the nucleus of the family, and so, guys, listen, we're gonna try to bring Carrie back because I know y'all wanna hear more of her, because so do I. But in the meantime, I just wanna thank you, Carrie, for coming. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me.
I appreciate you taking time out of your day and going off your look, was this Spanish time? Were you supposed to be reading over your Spanish words?
No, I'm up early, early.
Okay, good, good. Me too. Thank you, Ray. So anyway, thank you guys for coming on the podcast, for watching, for listening. I appreciate you so much. And hey, if you enjoyed this, share it with a friend, subscribe, follow, guys. Do all the things that will give us an opportunity to continue to share phenomenal women like Carrie. Join us for our phenomenal 52 weeks starting in May 2025. All right. Thank you guys so much. Love you. And in the meantime, until next time, happy loving.